Not long from now, the Flash finds himself face to face with another villain threatening his home in Central City. But as Barry charges forward, something happens in a fraction of a second. The Reverse Flash appears before his enemy. People call Barry the fastest man alive, but they haven't seen Thawne in action. He greets his old friend and says he has been waiting a long time to choke the life out of Alan once and for all. But he won't attack yet. He has been so patient. It will not take much to wait a little longer. But rest assured, Thawne will destroy everything Barry holds dear. As Eobard leaves, Barry is momentarily distracted, long enough to be knocked down by his opponent. Not long before this, the Flash was settling into his new apartment, only to find that his roommate has a pet rat. Barry and the small rodent share a moment of animosity before Alan leaves to go to a family commitment. At the Iron Heights Penitentiary, our hero comes by to see his father, Henry Allen. Barry is eager to tell his dad that he recently learned something that might exonerate his father from the murder of Henry's wife. But the older Alan wants Barry to stop visiting. Henry views this situation as hopeless, and he doesn't want his son wasting his life over this obsession. But Barry insists that he found a clue. It's not much, but it's something. A name. Thawne. Hearing that name, Henry freaks out, demanding to know where Barry heard that. The elder Alan demands that his son never speak that name again, and certainly to never tell anyone else about it. Visibly terrified, Henry says that he is the one who killed Barry's mother, and that his son must let this go. Henry hangs up and leaves, only for the villain double down to stop him. The inmate has a message for Alan from the professor. Thawne sends his regards, and hasn't forgotten about Henry or his son. Hearing this threat, Alan nearly comes to blows with the villain, but before the two men can fight, a guard breaks them up. The corrections officer's name is Elijah, and he warns Alan that he can't protect Henry from everything. But Alan isn't concerned. He doesn't need Elijah's help, as everyone in prison needs friends to survive, and Henry is no exception. Back in his cell, Alan talks to his bunkmates Travis, Ernie, and Anthony. To their shock, Henry requires the help of their supervillain identities: Mogul, Black Mold, and Girder. Over in the Central City Police Department, Barry is working away in the forensics lab when his adoptive father and fellow police officer Daryl comes by for a visit. Barry tells him that he finally got a lead on his father's case, but the officer isn't certain about this. Knowing that Barry just broke up with Patty Spivot and moved into a new place, Daryl thinks that he might just be looking for something meaningful to grab a hold of. Barry is frustrated to hear this, but Daryl insists that he's only looking out for him. He says that all he wants is for Barry to keep a clear head and not let emotions get the better of him. Their conversation is then interrupted by news of a jewelry store heist. The police are being overwhelmed by the thief, but luckily, the Flash is on the way. We cut to where our story began, with Barry knocked on the ground after being distracted by the Reverse Flash. Now paying attention to the fight at hand, and knowing that the armored villain will be resistant to damage, Barry creates a cyclone around the villain. This sucks the air from around the bad guy, and he is knocked out cold. As the police move in to take care of the damage, Barry stops to look at a nearby window, disturbed by the image he saw of Thawne. Over in Iron Heights, Henry's gang asks if Alan is sure about doing this. Henry says there is no other way, and the villain Girder replies that he understands. Family comes before everything else. The other two are amused, as Henry is supposed to be the sane one in the group, but they agree to help out too. With that, Henry pretends to keel over. The others call Elijah in and grab the corrections officer. They force him to lead the gang out of the prison and through a tunnel. They then knock the guard unconscious. From there, it's easy for Girder to steal a police boat from some unsuspecting officers. The gang successfully flee Iron Heights, but Henry warns the fellow fugitive that the task ahead of them won't be easy. But this doesn't deter Alan, as nobody threatens his son. Hello and welcome to Comic Island. My name is Arden, and this is my recap and review of The Flash number 41. Alright, so let's talk about The Flash and how things have been for this character lately. I actually only checked out the TV series after a bunch of our viewers practically begged me to, and I'm really glad that they did. I've heard from some people that they don't really like this series, but it's really grown on me over time. No, it isn't as carefully crafted or as serious as Daredevil, but it feels like a very faithful recreation of the Barry Allen I know from Silver Age comics. It's relatively lighthearted, but it works, and I really like what they did with most of the villains. They had a lot of great moments in the first season, and overall I'd say it's definitely worth your time. With the show's popularity, I've always wanted to do more on The Flash for ages now. I was going to do a big video when the season finale was coming about a month ago or so, and then just kind of ran out of time actually. It happens, as I'm pretty sure I was busy with the launch of Secret Wars at the time, but with the DC Comics doing a bit of a reboot right now, it felt like a good time to pick the series up, and to bring The Flash more into the fold here on Comic Island. Overall, I was pretty happy with this issue. There wasn't anything weighty here, but it had some cool visuals and was a fun story overall. I love the prison break and always have a bit of a weakness for Reverse Flash, who delivers some promising lines regarding what is to come. If you enjoyed this character like I do, or the Flash TV series, you should definitely check out the Flash comics for yourself. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and keep reading comics.